Dale, you were heading engineering for Amazon India. Then you joined Swiggy as CTO. Currently, you're building one of the fastest fintech company in brokerage space, Sahi.
Amazon, frankly, was just 11 years of a masterclass.
How Swiggy happened for you?
I was on vacation with my family and I got a call from this person. She had the mandate of getting a CTO for Swiggy. Then I met Harsha, the CEO and founder of Swiggy. While Swiggy was a very small company then, was focused on food, 14 cities. Harsha was always very clear. His vision was not about, I want to deliver food, I want to deliver a book. I want to redefine the way people live using logistics. We started to crash and we were crashing every weekend. For the next 3 months, we just put our heads down and kept fixing different parts of the tech. Eventually, by the time our New Year's came along, which was the biggest day of the year, we had a very good New Year. Swiggy was the 10 to 100 journey.
So coming to Sahi now.
We started Sahi almost 2 years ago. So I was very clear that I wish that somebody would just build for traders. That was my pet. So a large part of our focus is also making the user experience very simple, taking all the complexity and using technology to simplify it. Don't overwhelm them with complexity and the clutter. Our brokerage on Sahi is 50% lower than the current market prices. We don't want to build another broking app. We want to build something that is right for you, which means we want to build something that is Sahi for you. As India becomes the third largest economy in the world, the size and scale of what we have today in terms of financial services, in terms of stock market, will be many, many times more 10 years from now. Frankly, in 10 years later, when this has become big, at that time you may look back and say, I wish I was here.
He led engineering for Amazon in India. He was Chief Technology Officer of Swiggy, now building Sahi, using AI to help traders cut through noise and make informed decisions. Dale Vaz has done what most people only dream about. But here's the real story. The systems crashed every weekend at Swiggy, the 3-month grind to fix it, and why he believes right now is India's golden decade. This conversation is pure gold for anyone building or thinking about India. Let's dive in. Dale, excited to have you on 1947 Rise podcast.
Great. Thanks for having me, Shiva.
Dale, you've had an incredible journey so far. You were heading engineering for Amazon India. Then you joined one of the top consumer tech companies in India called Swiggy as CTO. Currently, you're building one of the fastest fintech company in brokerage space, Sahi. Before all of that, let's go back in time, and we're really a byproduct of our environment. What really shaped you the most while growing up?
Great. Yeah. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I think if you go back in time and really think about like where I started, very middle class boy, grew up in Bombay. Parents were, my dad was in the bank, so we were used to getting transferred every few years. So Pune, Bombay, then Mangalore, Udupi, lived in a different bunch of places. And then of course, mom was a homemaker. So very simple upbringing. But I would say that from childhood, a few things that really were important for us. One was education.
Yeah.
Both mom and dad were big on education, and it felt that this was just something that you had to do, which I think most Indians are anyway ingrained with. The other thing was because we were getting transferred every few years, there was a certain flexibility that came into the way I grew up. Because every few years I had to get used to a different school, different set of friends, different languages across different states. So you also get more resilient. So as a kid, I became comfortable with different places, different setups. I didn't feel ki I need to have everything well defined. Ki let me just go in and start and figure things out. So that was great. And then also I felt at some point, growing up middle class, you build an ambition to do more, to get to something bigger. So that ambition was what also, I guess, was always there inside me and has been pushing me for the last so many years.
And Dale, I think after graduation, you ended up joining Infosys. You were in US. How did Amazon happen for you? Talk us through that journey, and what are you most proud of the work that you did at Amazon?
Yeah, I think most of it happened without much planning, just to be completely honest. Infosys itself happened as something out of campus. It was at that time one of the day one companies that came to our college. So gave the interview, got the job offer on the first day. And after that, I didn't bother looking for a job. So showed up at Infosys after college. And then with Infosys, I moved to the US where we were placed at one of their tech companies. And while I was in the US, I also did my MBA while working at Infosys. So this was an part-time executive MBA. And when I finished it, I remember I'd gotten married at that time. Um, and my wife also worked at Infosys, and she also worked in the same team.
Okay.
So after marriage, when we got back to US, our manager came to us and said, "Ki, we'll need to split you guys. Obviously, we can't have you working in the same team." So while my wife would be working in the current location, I was going to be reallocated to a new client location, which was almost 3 hours away. And the simple answer was, "Ki, aap log, you just travel." And that's how you can do it. You can travel 3 hours each way, and that's how you can live. And so we were like, "Nee, that's not going to happen." So that was really probably the time where I started thinking, ki, what do I do outside of Infosys? This was 7 years. I had been 7 years in Infosys. And then I started sharing my resume. I got a call from somebody at Amazon. And at that time, 2007, Amazon was not that big. It was still a place where most people were not sure if Amazon will become a big company. I remember the stock was around $70, and it was falling.
Yeah.
And so there was this fear that Amazon is just a cash burning company and Walmart is going to eat it up and all that. So when I got the call, I was also curious. But then I traveled to Seattle and did a day-long interview, and I was amazed by the quality of people that I spoke to. I remember calling my wife from Seattle. She was in the East Coast. I traveled to Seattle, and I was just so excited to tell her about the people I spoke to. And thankfully, the offer came in. And I feel for me, the reason I joined Amazon was simply because I felt excited about getting to work and learn from such kind of people. It's just pure high for me to be in a room where I get to meet intelligent people and I get to learn from them. I get to see how they think. And Amazon, frankly, was just 11 years of a masterclass. For the 11 years I was in Amazon, I just kept learning, keep seeing how different leaders, different teams operated, and just kept learning. And frankly, that just was, I guess, the most important thing that I took away. In terms of what I did at Amazon, I did a bunch of things. What I'm particularly proud of is the work I did with Amazon's international expansion. So back in the day, Amazon had expanded into a few countries, US, UK, Japan. They had acquired a company in China, but they were pretty much settled. And for 8 years, they had not moved into any new country. And at some point, then the leadership decided that we should expand Amazon into new locales. So they had placed somebody who was assigned as the lead for the overall business. And then he went and hired me as the tech lead for this initiative. And the mandate was very simple, ki go off and figure out how to launch Amazon in Italy. This was a brand new country we had selected. And there was absolutely no blueprint. When you think about launching Amazon in Italy, what does it mean? It means you have to, of course, bring a website, but then you also have to figure out logistics. You have to figure out retail. You have to figure out inventory, transportation, prime, every single thing. And you have to do it in a country where you don't have any context. Because I'm sitting in Seattle, I don't even understand the Italian language. So we basically had to put together a team where we had somebody who was within Amazon who spoke Italian, who joined the team. And then I had to go and pretty much work across 165 different tech teams in Amazon, understand how do I bring together all the technology, create like this technology stack that resulted in what was initially Amazon Italy. We launched Amazon in Italy. Within 9 months, I then launched Amazon in Spain, and then helped in the launch of Amazon in India. And so those were the moments where you build something which even today, when I look back, those are big businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses for Amazon. And you think about how small the beginning was. It's just basically somebody's idea and some paper and then 2-3 people running around trying to figure things out. So I think that accomplishment of being able to play a small part in Amazon's expansion. That is something that has stuck with me. Second thing that has been exciting was Amazon India. I then focused on Amazon India, and the goal was to not just launch Amazon in India, but also innovate for customers in India. So there I was running Amazon consumer tech and payments, and there's a bunch that we did trying to rethink how to redesign Amazon's product experience for the Indian consumer. Um, the challenge is a lot more in a company like Amazon because there is a lot of legacy of how Amazon works in the US. So unlike a startup where you can begin from a clean slate, in Amazon you had to also convince people in Seattle about why you need to build differently. And so there was like the complexity of building, but also the complexity of managing the organizational scale and the leadership and all of that. And so it was a pretty complex job. And we had a great team. And again, there was very fortunate to be able to lead that. And again, now I look at Amazon India and they're doing an amazing job and they're huge business in India. So feeling very proud and grateful to be part of that journey.
Yeah. I heard from somewhere
Acha.
that Dale was considered as one of the top guys at Amazon. How did Swiggy happen for you? How was Swiggy was able to convince you? I think at that time, that was 2018 when you joined Swiggy. It was, of course, it was not a obvious company. Tell us about that a bit.
Yeah. I'll give you some like behind the scenes stories which I haven't told anybody. It'll be interesting because Swiggy was like one of those things which almost never happened. Would have been a big mistake in hindsight. But at that time, we had moved from the US to India and I was working at Amazon in India. So I knew Swiggy as a customer because my kids, when they needed any food, we initially were asking around, how do we get access to like American food, right? Pizza, pasta, burger. And somebody said, this is a Swiggy app.
Yeah.
Why don't you use it? And so I really enjoyed the app product. I think I was a big fan of the user experience. But I was thinking of this more as, okay, this is a nice tool, nice product. Never thought of this as I should join it. And then I remember I was on vacation with my family at Ladakh. We had gone to Leh Ladakh and we were just doing the thing, Panangsa and going around. So I got a call on my phone. And normally I have this habit of not taking calls, and most of my people in my team will actually know that because I just keep declining calls. But in this case, I don't know if it was that meditative mode ki Ladakh hai, so I'm just a little bit more relaxed or whatnot. I just said, let me take this call. And I got a call from this person called Rupa, who is the CEO of Purple Quarter. And basically they are an exec search firm. And normally, like I get a lot of these calls and most people I say, sorry, not interested. But she didn't like really pitch a job. She just said that there's a company that is interested, but more importantly, I'm trying to find how to find a role that matches you in terms of your potential and what you can do. And so I was very curious because it was more like a conversation about what I could do rather than here's the company, here's the role, do you want to join? And I think I said, yeah, sure, let me understand. I'm curious to understand ki, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
And that's how it started because all this while she had the mandate of getting a CTO for Swiggy. And when we spoke, she started introducing the company. Then I met Anand from the board of directors, Maxwell. Again, very impressed with the vision they had. Then I met Harsha, who is the CEO and founder of Swiggy. And I think I really hit it off with Harsha. I told this even at Swiggy that it was almost like we were dating because we used to meet up, have long conversations over dinner, and then I have to go back home and I was be like excited about. We talked about this, and this is the vision of what he wants to do. And while Swiggy was a very small company then, was focused on food. Harsha was always very clear that his vision was to really transform the way people lived in India. So his vision was not about, I want to deliver food, I want to deliver a book. It was, I want to redefine the way people live in India. And it's very simple vision. I want to redefine the way people live using logistics. So even then, way before this quick commerce became popular, Harsha was very clear that at some point I want to be able to deliver books, I want to be able to deliver food, I want to deliver apparel, electronics, everything I can right to your doorstep. Not just that, also services. So if you need a haircut, can I deliver a hair salon, somebody to your home? And so that vision was very exciting for me. And I thought that given what's happening in India and given how much opportunity is there in India, like combining that with this ambition that Harsha had, I just felt that this was a story I couldn't miss. But then when I went back, I spoke to my manager at that time. And obviously, my manager is, again, like an amazing person at Amazon, who I have a lot of respect for. And he convinced me to stay back. So I remember I called Harsha and I told him, sorry, won't do it this time. And again, there, Harsha, to his credit, never really pushed me, but he kept sending me a lot of forwards of things that Swiggy was doing for almost 4 or 5 months. And this non-stop ki humne ye kar liya, and this is a forward, and we raised funding, and by the way, we made this new expansion, and just kept teasing me with like the action that Swiggy was having. And I think it came to a point where I realized that, while I had said no the first time, I just have this burning desire, and it was 6 months later that I said, yes, let's do it. And that's how I joined.
How large was Swiggy back then when you joined?
Swiggy was really small. Swiggy was in 14 cities in India, and it was only doing food delivery. The entire team used to sit in this like co-working space that they had. It was one floor, and one part of the team floor was tech, other part was business. It was super fun because every time we had to just discuss, we just walk back and forth between tech and business. I remember Swiggy also had this culture where I think they may still have it, but at that time, every evening at 4 p.m., snacks were given within office. And so somebody would come in with a bunch of like snacks, could be like, small things. And the entire team would line up. And everybody just line up. So when I showed up, I was like, okay, it's 4 o'clock, I'm doing my work, and suddenly everybody's lining up. Ki kya chal raha hai? And when I go there, people line up, and then they get maybe a small snack with a small drink, and then they're sitting and they're talking. And that became like this place where while you're working, you got a small chance to just connect with everybody, and very informal setup where you're not really planning, but you just happen to meet people. And after having your snack, you go back to work. Right. So we were working very hard. We used to work very late in the night, but there was always this small team feel. And at that time, like it felt really special to be joining Swiggy at that time.
And I think kind of like you had this term called you got to love the grind at Swiggy. Tell us a bit more about that, and also what was the journey for you from 2018 till I guess to 2023 is when you left and started Sahi.
It was it's a ups and downs, not from a professional perspective, but more from a business perspective, because when I started in 2018. We were seeing really good growth, and every week we would see a new high in terms of numbers. Unfortunately, the technology we had at that time was not able to keep up. So every Sunday night we would see our new high from an orders perspective on dinner. And then immediately, as soon as we hit that new high, our systems would fail. And so I remember that almost right during September timeframe, we started to crash, and we were crashing every weekend. It was a tough time because there were a lot of drivers across different cities who were waiting for orders, because for them, this was their livelihood. They had joined Swiggy to make money so that they can, kind of live and pay for their expenses. And because we were not able to bring our systems up, they were not able to get orders. Of course, customers were unhappy, restaurants were not happy with us. And in fact, during Diwali, when Diwali season came along, even then we had outages in 2018. So it came to a point where the team was working every single night, and after every dinner, when the systems would go down, we would work all the way through the night to bring it back up, apply some fix, and then again next Sunday again it would fail. And this went on. But for the next 3 months, we just put our heads down and kept fixing different parts of the tech. And eventually, by the time our New Year's came along, which was the biggest day of the year, we had a very good New Year. So it took us the first 3 months to get things sorted. And that was my introduction into Swiggy, because I had just joined 2 months and it was like, here you go. I remember teams and operations used to call me from different parts of the country and be like, the drivers are surrounding us. Can you please help us, because the drivers are getting angry. Ki orders nahi aa rahe. What do I do? And we were like, we're waiting, we're doing something, please wait. So there was kind of a little bit of a, I guess in hindsight, a very exciting time.
Yeah.
But during the moment, quite stressful. And then after that, once things got settled and the base hygiene of the tech was established, then we really focused on two things. We focused on how do we scale Swiggy to become this multi-category business, because we were clear that we want to support Instamart, we want to support Genie, multiple things. So we had to do work to redefine the tech architecture to go from a food-specific technology stack to a multi-category commerce platform. And we did that work. The second key thing was to convert a lot of the systems from being rules-based to AI-based. Because there's a lot of complexity, and as you're thinking about this business, when you're thinking about 500 different cities across India, every city behaves differently. So that's where we said, let's build AI across the board, and we deployed a bunch of AI models. And we scaled Swiggy to 500 plus cities. We launched multiple business lines, including Instamart. With AI, we were also able to bring profitability for the food business, squeeze out inefficiency in fraud, inefficiency in driver assignment, inefficiency in how we were managing our inventory, a bunch of different things. And all of that contributed to getting to a place where food was able to be profitable. So that was like the 5-year journey. Of course, beach mein there was COVID. Business stopped, lots of different things. So
tons of lows and highs.
Tons of things. And if you think about it, like packed like a lifetime of learning in 5 years.
If you could kind of like summarize your time in one sentence at Amazon and at Swiggy.
At Amazon, it was building for scale. Like I think the Amazon was, how do I build a 100x scale business? That is the Amazon learning. And then Swiggy was the 10 to 100 journey, which is Swiggy had already reached a certain size. They were obviously quite successful. But from there, how do you scale them to 100x? That was the journey. So when I look at Amazon, I would say 100x plus journey. Swiggy is the 10 to 100 journey. And then with Sahi, I'm now doing the 1 to 10 journey.
1 to 10.
So in some sense, I'm going backwards.
So coming to Sahi now, Dale, what convinced you that you wanted to get into a space where there are a lot of already well-established brokerage firms out there? Give us kind of the sense, how did you come up with the idea? How did you meet your co-founder? And what's been the thesis from the beginning?
So while I've been doing product and tech as a professional, I've also been a trader on a personal level. Been trading for about 17 years. I started trading back when I was in the US. At that time, the idea was very simple. How do I make some money from the market? But that passion stuck with me. And that passion continued over the 17 years, despite all the different things happening in professional and personal life. And in that journey, I think as a trader, I experienced a bunch of frustrations with different platforms, both platforms in the US and then also platforms in India. And I felt that while you have so many different apps out there, most apps are basically the same experience, the same kind of journey that has been repeated. It's a one-size-fits-all for everybody. And no one's really looking to build products or experiences that are optimized for trading. Because if you look at an app, as an investor who buys one stock in a year, or a trader who buys 30 trades in a day, both get the same experience. And both needs are very different. but no one's really thinking about trading as this focus group. Most people think about investor and investment focused behaviors. So I was very clear that I wish that somebody would just build for traders. That was my pet peeve as a user. And when I moved to India, I started talking to a bunch of people around me. What I learned is, interestingly, two things. One, that most people in India know how to buy and sell a stock. Broking is a solved problem, right? Thankfully, with all the brokers out there, anybody can get an account and start trading in one day. But if you ask the same person the question saying, do you know what to do with your money, given that you have this broking app, do you know when to invest, when to buy, when to sell, when to exit? Then you realize that most people are still very confused. Most people have two problems. One is the too much of data, too much of noise. Ki ye bhi karo, wo bhi karo. Too many different signals, news, scanners, screeners, charts, वगैरह, and that just overwhelms people. And the second thing is the tools are also very fragmented. Even if I need this information, I have to go here for charts, I go here for screeners, I go here for some fundamental data, I visit somewhere else for my news, and then I have to put all this information together, then I have to go to my broking app, and I have to keep jumping between these different screens so that I can make my trades possible. So again, if you go back to this problem, if you look at an investor, it's fine because you may do this once in a month, maybe once in 2 months, 3 months. So all this effort may not be a big deal. But if you think of somebody who is waking up every day and thinking about how do I decide how to invest my money today, what is the way in which I can maybe actively invest in the market, that person needs products and capabilities that are optimized for trading. And that's where I felt that the opportunity in this space, or the thesis that we have, is we need to build a high performance trading focused platform that provides all the tools, the data, and the insight into one single place, so that everything you need is in one place for trade discovery, execution, and your management of your portfolio. So then if somebody wants to be able to actively manage, they can make the most informed decision right on one platform. So that's really where we said we don't want to build another broking app. We want to build something that is right for you, which means we want to build something that is Sahi for you. तो उससे नाम पड़ गया. Sahi is essentially right. Sahi is also an emotion. Sahi is something that you feel when something goes very well, and obviously you will say कि ये सही है. So we also want people to feel excited, and we want people to feel that this is something that is delightful. So a large part of our focus is also making the user experience very simple, taking all the complexity and using technology to simplify it, so that we give the power to these users, but don't overwhelm them with complexity and the clutter of regular broking apps.
And how did you meet your co-founder?
So yeah, my co-founder is Manish Jain. He's a veteran in the financial space. He's been there for about 16 years. Interestingly, again, they're very random because he spent his entire financial journey and career in Mumbai. We were based in Bangalore. But for some reason, he on his own decided to move to Bangalore, thinking that Bangalore is the place to be if you want to build something in fintech. So obviously, he had his own ambition to build in fintech, and he moved to Bangalore with Fisdom, which is a different broking company. And when he was at Fisdom, I think we got connected over LinkedIn. He saw some of my posts, and then he reached out, and then we just caught up over coffee. And as we started talking, I think we both shared the same opinion. Manish's interesting background, he actually was a professional trader. He was trading professionally at Kotak Securities. So while I've done this as an individual, he's done this as a complete professional. And he has seen the tools, the power, the capabilities that professional traders has. So his view was very clear that there are all these capabilities that we need to bring to retail. And I was also of the opinion that we need to build professional tools, but we need to build them in a very delightful customer experience. So the combination of both our ideas is basically where we thought the sweet spot is. Can I bring the power of professional platform with the delight of user experience of consumer behavior? And that's where both of us felt that we have something in common here. And that's how we met.
And at Sahi, so the idea for you is to really educate and provide tools where traders can do good trades.
Make informed decisions.
Make informed decisions. They'll maybe just give an example. A user in simple language,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
user comes on the platform. How would it work for that person?
Yeah, I think one feature that we've seen really good customer feedback from is something called a market indicator. So very simple user behavior. Every time somebody logs into the app, the first thing they are trying to figure out, where is the market today? Is the market bullish? Is it bearish? Is it sideways? Is something happening? And what do people do? They go and they start looking at different pieces of information, right? And so when we look at the traders, they look at market data, they look at charts, they look at option data, they look at some put call ratios, a bunch of different technical jargon. And then they say, okay, based on all of this, I think the market is bullish. The problem though is the market keep changes every minute. And so if I come back, say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, again I have to repeat the same thing. Okay, market was bullish in the morning, but has it changed direction? Is it bearish now? So again, I have to go and do all this analysis. So one thing we did when we initially launched Sahi was we said, let's put all the information into Sahi so you don't have to go to 4 or 5 different apps, which was the obvious answer. But then we realized ki if we truly have to solve for the customer, why even give them these 5 data points? Why not help identify the market direction for them? And so there we built this AI-based indicator, which uses all this information that we have along with the charts data, and we use a bunch of AI, Gen AI models to create a very simple indicator that says the market is currently bullish trend, bearish trend, or sideways.
Yeah.
Now that indicator synthesizes all this data, all this noise that customers have to deal with into a very clear view of where the current market is. And that's an example where for a user that helps reduce the amount of effort they need. So they very quickly, they're able to look at this. Now, if they tap on that indicator, they also give a very detailed background of why the indicator is bullish. So we don't just tell them, we educate them by giving them all the signals and the information behind that. So they can also learn about this. And of course, if they feel like they agree with the indicator, then they can go on and decide how to place their trades.
Interesting.
So that's an example where we just took like work that the trader has to do multiple times in the day and said, let's give you this Sahi market indicator, which is on the platform now.
Yeah. And where are we today? How many users you have? What's been the journey like? And also, look at Amazon. For you, Amazon was really about scale.
Yep.
And Swiggy was, getting from 10 to 100, and now, of course, you're going from 0 to 1 or -1 to and 10. What are the learnings that you got from there and that you're looking to apply into the journey at Sahi?
Yeah, I think so. We launched, we started Sahi almost 2 years ago in August of 2023. And we launched the product last year in December 24. So as of now, it's about around 10 months old journey. In the last 10 months of launch, like very grateful to see some really good customer traction. We have more than 8 lakh app downloads. Out of those 8 lakh app downloads, more than 1 lakh customers have created their Demat accounts on the platform and are actively using the platform. When we look at the customer user love, I think there are both quantitative ways in terms of numbers, where we see the frequency at which people are placing trades and the number of times they come back to the platform, the retention as being something which is very good. Separately, we also get a lot of qualitative feedback where we have feedback forms right on the app where people can post their feedback. And we, on a daily basis, get a lot of customer love for the product speed, the experience that we have built. So for us, I think so far the last 10 months have been really like great journey. We're obviously continuing to build for the customer. We have lots of work to do, lots of things to do and catch up there. When I go back to your question about what did we take from the learnings at Swiggy and Amazon and bring here, both Swiggy and Amazon were very customer-focused, customer-obsessed companies. And that is something that I think we have just brought into Sahi on day one, where we don't think about competitors. We don't worry about what competitors do or who are the big competitors in the space and how can we survive. We just focus on saying there are customers today who need help with being able to make informed financial decisions. somebody who wants to be able to make their money work but does not understand this. How do we help them? And that customer obsession is all we do all day, and that is something which I think I've taken from both Swiggy and Amazon. The second thing which I think both Swiggy and Amazon did very well is this focus on operational excellence. It's one thing to build a product, it's one thing to do something, but it's really hard to make sure it works every single day, to make sure it gets better every single day. And this is the grind that we talked about. Like there is a certain amount of grind where you just focus on how do I keep improving it so that every small detail compounds over time. And this is again a culture that the team has taken. Every day we obsess about small things that we can do, milliseconds that we can save in order execution, new features we can add, and how can we reduce even the number of taps that customers have to make to place an order. And all of this basically adds up to creating this delightful experience. So those are the two things that I think, operational excellence and customer obsession, that I think really feel we want to bring to Sahi. Separate from that, I think with Sahi, we are also very excited about building Sahi itself as an AI first company inside. So while we are building AI-based features for our customers, we're also looking at how do we build Sahi to be a company where our teams use AI so that we can build a large business with a very small team. So the opportunity, I think, for most startups right now is you don't need to create very large organizations to build large businesses. You can empower your teams, both tech and non-tech, with AI tools and do a lot more with a very small team. And that actually is an amazing thing because it allows us as a small startup to compete against a company that may have 10x the talent. In the old days, maybe even 5 years back, if I didn't have X number of engineers, I would never be able to build features. I would never be able to survive. And obviously, if somebody was hiring those people with higher salaries, I could not afford to hire them. But now, even though I'm a startup with only 10 engineers or 12 engineers, and with AI, we're able to build the entire platform. We're able to build all the tools and the customer experience. And that I think is a huge, huge enabler. So we are wanting to take this forward. We want to build the company to be a lean company where both my tech and non-tech teams continue to use AI. And frankly, this will be a very exciting experiment because if you're able to build it, we'll also in some way define like how organizations of the future can look. I think if you're able to pull it off, then the nature of how this works will be very exciting. Also able to give that value back to customers. The way we do that is in terms of our brokerage. Our brokerage on Sahi is 50% lower than the current market prices. And the way we've done that is because we are running a very lean AI first team, we're saving costs in terms of headcount, and we're able to take that cost and give that value to the customer. Right? So it's a win for customers, it's a win for us because we feel we can move faster. It's obviously a very exciting thing because from a business perspective, it creates a very strong, good, sustainable business. So that's an exciting journey that we are on, and I'm personally very excited about it.
And Dale, one or two customer feedback that you've gotten that has just stayed with you and it has really pumped you.
Yeah. I think we get a lot of customer feedback. I think every day we get this customer feedback. But one of the things that so really surprised us and also excited us is we keep hearing the word speed when we hear Sahi. If you were to just take a word cloud of all the feedback we get, you'll hear like speed is like a most repeated, most loved feature. And frankly, nobody really thought about that. We thought about building a great experience. We built our own charts. We built our own order execution technology. And we said, let's build this experience where we can provide a great experience. But because we have built our own technology, we have also built it in a way where it's much faster than the existing charting technology out there. So what we realized is while people use the product, while they like the user experience and the interface, what they really, I guess, resonate with is how fast the product is, how quick the charts load, how quick the order execution happens. And that this kept coming back, ki Sahi speed. And that has been for us something that I would say we didn't really think as going to be our number one focus. But now that we know about this, we obviously are like obsessing about it. We keep inventing and trying to get even better. We think that at the end of the day, customers will love the fact that their platform provides them the power and the reliability that they are looking for. And by just having this capability in Sahi, I think that itself gives customers that confidence that they can trade reliably on this platform. They can punch in their orders without worrying about delays. And I think that is where we are seeing this love.
Yeah.
So it's very simple, because you would think people will talk about some AI feature or some great XYZ UI, but I think people are still looking for the base experience key. Make sure my order does not get delayed. Make sure my charts don't delay. And when they see that it's so fast on Sahi, they just keep coming back to us and say, I love the speed of your platform.
Yeah, love it. So this will be a two-part question. A large part of my audience is Indian diasporas who are thinking about moving back to India and build in India. You're a great example. I think you only mentioned somewhere in US, 35% of household wealth in the US is deployed into public markets. Versus in India, it's only, I think, what, 6%?
6-7%, yeah.
Dale, what's the larger or the opportunity that you see in financial services in India?
Got it. Okay. So two-part question. So in terms of returning to India, so we were in the US for 13 years. And then when we moved to India, it was in 2016. Right at that time, I think we moved to India purely on the promise of what India can have. It was obviously a place where we were seeing that growth happening. And there was just so much of energy and potential every time I would meet people in India that I felt that I need to be in India if I have to build something. So for us, it's been 9 years now, and it's been a pretty amazing ride. And just as my, I wouldn't say advice, but my input to someone who's thinking about it is, you have to essentially think of India as like a mix of something's good and something's not so good. Just to be completely honest, you're not going to get the US quality of life in India while enjoying the Indian quality of life. India has something that is amazing, where you have access to family, you have great friends, social system, and in some sense, you can have a great quality of life because you have access to different tools, things like Swiggy delivering to your house. While in the US, you may have other benefits. Maybe the roads are much better, the air is cleaner. And so when you're coming to India, you have to come to India with an open mind. You have to know that you're getting some wins and some things maybe not as perfect. So please don't come if you think that you can somehow get the US experience and then feel disappointed, or worse, even complain after moving to India. I think where we've been successful is we've just embraced the India experience. We feel like this is really where we want to be. We definitely feel like this is something that we are here. So we're not looking to move back. And frankly, in the space that we are, in financial services, my wife also is a working professional. Both of us feel like there's so much of opportunity right now in what India is doing, where India is going in the next 10 years, that anybody can come and really build their career, build their future. Particular to financial services, I'm just very bullish about it. I think we are at a point where, as India becomes the third largest economy in the world, the size and scale of what we have today in terms of financial services, in terms of stock market, will be many, many times more, say, even 10 years from now. There was a Goldman Sachs report that about $9.7 trillion will be deployed into financial assets over the next 10 years. This is $9.7 trillion from households within India, based on their income, their savings, converting some of their assets into financial assets. And so when you think of all that money coming in, there are going to be need for people to find better solutions to be able to manage their money. There are going to be different kinds of needs for people to have wealth solutions. There are going to be a lot of different supporting businesses also that will come up, maybe in technology, in SaaS, in security, in trust. So when you think of this ecosystem, it's not just going to be about building a brokerage or building a wealth tech company. It's really going to be about serving the needs of hundreds of millions of customers who are all very ambitious, who are all very keen to grow their wealth. and who are looking for best-in-class products, who have like a very high bar for what they believe is good quality product. So if you want to build in this space and you are really excited by this opportunity, then you should be here. And you should definitely be here for the next 10 years, because frankly, in 10 years later, when this has become big, at that time, you may look back and say, I wish I was here. I keep saying this, like there is a certain point in time that we are. 10 years before this, it would have been very difficult to imagine India being so high opportunity. And maybe 10 years later, you may realize that it is too late, that the opportunity has passed. So I feel we are in this window where we have this nice time where things are great and we should be here building for India.
Yeah. Moving to our last section. Look, we know you as a techie, as an entrepreneur. What do your friends know you for? Who are you outside of work? Outside of Bollywood?
I think, I'm generally outside of work, I would say very silly. Most is like this thing where, and I think I get it from my mom. My mom, she's like 78. But if you tell her a joke, she will laugh and giggle like a child. And I feel like I still have that thing where I love to laugh. I love to find things funny. And that is just something that, however old I become, I feel like I'll have that. So people find me very silly. People find me doing stuff outside of work that you won't believe that I would do based on my formal role. But then I also love traveling. I love being active. So I like playing games, sports, taking care of my health. I think I also love history. I have this thing where I just like to read about random historical events and how the world is connected. Keep getting excited about seeing how humanity as a whole has had these links over thousands of years. So very, very random. Overall, like Dale outside work is just somebody who's very curious about stuff. And I don't really have like a constraint on what I want to do, but I just feel like I need to fill time with things that just keep me excited.
And what sports you have been playing lately?
So badminton is something I play quite often. I used to play cricket, kind of taking a little pause from that after some injuries. But badminton is something I play quite often.
If you could invite 3 guests, dead or alive,
Oh, really?
who for dinner, who would they be and why?
I would say one person would be, say, Alexander the Great. Like, I just feel somebody so young, I just keep thinking about this story of someone who's in their early 20s, just sitting on a horse and then saying, let me just cross mountains and cross Asia and come into different lands. And that sheer boldness and that audacity is something that is fascinating. Because today we get worried to even cross a street at night. We think 2 times if we have to go into a neighborhood at night. We need a bus, we need a car, we need a plane. Somebody just sat on a horse and said, let me just go and figure out where the world is and I'll see how things are. So I think like it would be fascinating to meet somebody like that, just to get inspired by that boldness, that audacity. I think Alexander is one person there. Then I feel this from, when I look at invention, I would love to meet Edison, Thomas Edison, because he was one of the guys who had like a massive number of inventions to his name. And while we know him as somebody who has invented like the electric bulb and other things, he's also been somebody who's always been tinkering and creating new things. And it would be very fascinating to understand the mind of somebody who says, how do you figure out how to reinvent things? And not just one thing, but do it multiple times. And maybe that curiosity and how you go about the process of innovating is something I would love to learn from him. So yeah, very two different. I was thinking very distinct. It would be very weird to see them both talk to each other, but I would actually have a lot of fun.
And third one?
Third one. Achha, third one. I would love to have Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. At my table. I would. I mean, absolute legend. Like we talked about Bollywood. I grew up in Bombay, and I think Back in the day, we only had Doordarshan. This was before all that cable channel. And every Friday evening, they would play a movie. And this was like a thing. You would wait for the movie and it would play once a week. And if you missed it, then next week. Very different time. And there was this time where when I was just starting to watch TV, where they started a series of Amitabh Bachchan movies. And every week they would play a different movie from his time. And I think I just built my love for cinema by watching him, because you could see different movies where he would go from being like an angry young man to being like this extremely funny character, to being somebody who is extremely romantic, to being somebody who is deeply mysterious like Dawn. And you just amazed at how he would do it. And to be honest, even to this day, how he's continuing to wow people and how he's continuing to build like this aura around everything he does. Even something as simple as reading a poem, he brings life into it. I think just a living legend. And I feel we sometimes talk about people only after they pass. But like for Amitabh Bachchan, I feel like he's somebody who we should celebrate on a daily basis, as somebody who has like really brought so much of joy and like excitement to people's lives. So I would love to have him. I would love to have him talk to Alexander in his voice, and maybe have him interview Alexander while I'm watching the two.
No, I think he's one of the best examples when it comes to how to keep evolving yourself.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And I feel also, if you see his story, it's not always been ups. It's been ups and downs. So very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
In that he's had his own journeys, but he's always come up and always, as you said, reinvented and found that a lot of learnings for even a founder in thinking about pivots as a company. How do you pivot? He's pivoted as an individual in the way he has come up with his own career path, and frankly, it's just moved from success to success. So I would love to just spend time with him.
Thank you so much, Dale. Thanks a lot for coming on and sharing your inspiring journey. And I'm excited for you and the team at Sahi.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been an awesome conversation. It's been fun. Love to see the passion that you're bringing, where you are trying to build this diaspora and excitement around return to India, as well as spreading the good word about the work happening in India. So happy to be a small part of it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.